Well, happy Friday afternoon. And I just wanted to continue the conversation about PTSD triggers, or for some who are emotionally dysregulated or get into emotional situations. And listen all the way to the end, because they'll have a couple questions for you that you can ponder about your own life. And this morning I wasn't doing very well and kind of got in some rumination and overthinking and different things like that. And the number one thing that I've learned is being aware of when I get into those different cycles. And that's really been a key thing in my healing, is awareness. Like, what does it look like? What does it sound like? What does it feel like? And I could definitely tell this morning after a few hours, I'm like, oh, I haven't been here in a while, but I need to pay attention. And as soon as I did that live video, I went ahead and took a cold shower. I took a cold bath, actually, just that it kind of surprised me at the severity. And maybe not severity, but how much that had gone on for, in a quick period of time. And I decided to take a bath. So I took a 10-minute cold bath. And, I know that there's a lot of talk about cold plunges, but who's got time for all of the ice? And who's got time for an expense of those ice plunge baths? I mean, those things, I looked at them, they're like $5,000 to go ahead and plug in this thing that gives you, cold water. And yeah, sure, nobody likes to do cold plunges, but they're very effective for the central nervous system. So, you can get that same effect by filling up a bathtub or taking a cold shower. And, if you're out and about and you need to reset your nervous system, you can do it under cold water with just your wrists underneath the water. So today for me, I just felt like I hadn't done a cold therapy in a while, so I took a bath. So 10 minutes, I soaked in a cold bathtub. And yeah, it's not fun to do it, but all of the benefits after, I am so chill right now. So that was, something that I did for myself, was cold therapy. And the next thing is I also could tell that there was some brain, I needed to kickstart my brain. And I have this natural remedy that has GABA and L-theanine, and those two things work with the brain barrier. And also L-theanine works, it's an amino acid, and it really helps to kind of take the edge off for stress. So those two things, I popped 2 of those, took a cold bath. And then I also, when I'm out of the bath, I also do some Kundalini breath work that helps move the energy out of my body. And, there's 4 different types of breath work that I do, that really help with anxiety and also moving that energy out of my body. And then from there, I know that it's good for me to get out of my place, to go do an activity, to go do something out in town. And so I'm just kind of out at my local tea house. It's a place where I come. It's right around the block from my ceramics place. And so I've got a nice cup of tea here. And, I think it's really effective to go, for me anyway, to go do an activity, to get out of my house, to get out of thinking, and do it in a safe place. I don't want to do something that's new, that I have to navigate new people and a new place and a bunch of newness. So I really recommend that. But, that's one of the biggest things, is that awareness about emotional dysregulation or a PTSD trigger or a swirl. And then the second thing is about managing the nervous system. How would we go about doing that? And it's really a trick to manage your own nervous system and your body symptoms. There's the stuff that's going on in your brain or your emotional body, but there's also the physical body. And if your central nervous system isn't regulated, then you're going to have that in your body. You're going to have dysregulation. And then the third element is, it's all about time to taking swift self-care actions. And, again, like there's a severity level to whatever you're navigating. And, that would require maybe more steps or less steps depending on what's going on. But the other thing is that there are layers to triggers. And, it may not be tied directly to one item. It could be like stuff that's multiple days in a row, or it could be topics, or it could be the same, like a traumaversary. And it could be just unfortunate things that are going on in your life that are just on top of each other. And in healing, you get very clean. You get really clean with your energy. And so from there, you have less tolerances, I guess, for getting out of those zones. And, but also your awareness is quicker, and, self-care is quicker. So, I think, when you're bogged down in a divorce or a toxic relationship, like you've got multiple systems that are all there and you don't have awareness. So maybe you can, you have longer time in duration of dealing with triggers, and like I said, for me in the beginning, after I left the ex, there were weeks that I've lost to PTSD trigger swirls. For this one just to come up and I'm back to normal and, back to a new normal and a baseline for me, was awesome, for just the knowledge and the awareness of all of that. But back on to PTSD triggers, like there can be a lot of things that are tied up into PTSD triggers. We were talking about, there could be multiple events, that happen on, sequential days, and then they just pile up. Or there could be lots of changes that are happening in your life that, it just is so much for your nervous system to have to navigate through. Another thing that I've talked to a lot of survivors about is not trusting the good. And, I think that sometimes when you've been in a toxic relationship or narcissistic abuse, that there's just been bad behavior and negative stuff going on for such a long period of time that when things shift and you're out of that relationship and you get clearer with your energy and clearer with your self-care and have more awareness and more understanding about yourself, that, at least for me, sometimes I don't trust the good when multiple good things are coming my way. And I know that has, when I've talked to other people in my healing circle, that's actually been a thing to start trusting in the good. And, it's kind of interesting in how that really plays out on the central nervous system. And another thing is too many new people and sharing personal life's events or whatever, even if it's superficial or even if it's positive and uplifting. And in reflection over the last few days, I've had multiple new interactions with different people. And I'm also navigating a possible relocation and making airline reservations and starting to dream about that. And so I think that there was just this perfect storm that occurred this morning. And here we are a few hours later with some self-care, some cold therapy, natural remedy to reduce stress, getting my nervous system under wraps, and going out and doing an activity at a place that I really enjoy, a tea place, and having my tea. That has been the real awareness and taking swift action to getting back into body, getting back into a new normal for myself. And so I just wanted to end this live here for a couple things, a couple questions for you. Do you set boundaries with yourself on how much you share with new people? And the second question is, do you limit the number of new experiences with new friends or activities or acquaintances or, whatever you're going to do? Do you limit that number of newness that's out there? And the last question that I'll leave you today on this live is, do you have a proven self-care plan for when you get into emotional dysregulation or a PTSD swirl or when you're really out of alignment with mind, body, spirit. And do you have a self-care plan? And, I just wanted to share that today with you. And if you have any comments or questions, or have any questions to those or whatever, drop those in the comments. And yeah, I just hope you all have a really great Friday. And just wanted to share that it is possible to learn new behaviors and develop new skills to manage emotional dysregulation or PTSD swirls or whatever you call them. And just wanted to share that it's possible, and it does take directed, swift action to move out of those triggering events or triggering situations. So hope you have a really great Friday, and I look forward to talking to you soon. Bye-bye.